This is the Clevertouch panel. So before, when you had your smart board in the classroom, you had like the projector and the board itself, and you needed your computer to do anything with it. Well, that technology's kind of changed. There's an Android system in it, so it has some power without a computer attached. So think of it very similar to like a tablet or a phone, okay? Now when I connect to my computer, I have the functionality of my computer. So I'm basically giving you another device in the classroom you can completely use however you want. So as a center, any of those things. Especially when you have like the littles, there's a lot of versatility for it. So, we're going to show you how to turn it on first and foremost. You probably want to know that, right? So each one of you have a box in your room. It looks like this. And you'll have a remote. And then in this bag, there's some other goodies in there. But there are pens. This is the bag that looks like the pens, okay? So at the last school, like, we don't have any pens. This is it. This is what they look like. So, the remote is already the battery's already put in here, but these are your two pen styluses. So, the panel is multi-touch, so it's 10 points of contact, okay? So, you could essentially have like 10 little ones up there, or 2 or 5 little ones with 2 fingers, however you want to do it. But it's pen or finger. So by default, teachers like to use a stylus, students like to use their fingers. There's a little baby bag in here of these replacement pen tips. There's also like a user guide if you want to read it. Feel free, I'm sure it's a real page turner. But the pens, these two are styluses, so there's no power to them. So you can use any of those pens that you want. So you can use an eraser tip. I don't see one of those the little finger. Those work great. So there's no power to this. You can use any styluses. They are magnetic. You can magnet it to the front of the board, to the back of the board, to here, wherever you feel like you want it. Usually I would do it in the back or up here. I don't know, kids like those little trinkety things for some bizarre reason. So those are your pens, and then you have this beautiful remote where you're going to use about 6 buttons on here. So, I don't know why there's a million buttons on here, but you're going to use like 6. All the features of this remote are on the panel. So, if the remote goes missing, it's not the end of the world, okay? So it's not like, oh, I lost my remote and I have to get a yardstick to turn my projector on. Those days are long gone. Also, no more calibration. Gone. No more calibration, anything of that. So the power button is right here. So it's on the front of here. And then there's obviously the power button right here. The one thing about this is that the IR sensor is right here. It's kind of small. It's like the size of my fingertip. It's the one bad design I hate about the panel is that the IR sensor. You have to almost be right in front of it to turn it on and off. But no fear because you have your button right here. So I would recommend turning it off at the end of the day. It's not going to fade like your projector did.
The bulb.
Right? But it's still going to it's energy, right? Like you're still wasting electricity. So I turn off at the end of the day, right? There's also a volume button right here. All that features and functionalities is right here. So there's one arrow right here. It's going to show you your volume and then any of your inputs is listed in here. So you have your input button and then your volume. The last button I'm going to show you is your freeze. So I'm sure we use this a lot. It is this blue button. Is freeze. So when my device is hooked up and I want to freeze something, meaning I want whatever I have up here on the screen to be static, and I want to go check an email, I don't want the littles to see it, this is that freeze button. Okay? And I'll show you what that button is on the panel as well. Other than that, that's it on this remote. Nothing super exciting. So, any questions about the hardware of the panel?
When you turn off, you have to push and hold.
Oh yes, you have to push and hold. So if I just push and hold, it's going to say, are you sure you want to shut down? And then you can hit yes or no.
But if you just do...
If I just touch it like this, that's putting it to sleep. So a lot of times teachers I turn that panel off every day and when I come on, it's on. Because it's sensor, so if someone brushes up against it or, I don't think this school is haunted, but if it was, it would be on. So press and hold. Now if I use the remote, it automatically does that. When I turn it off, it automatically prompts for that. Okay? Okay, any questions before we get into the more exciting things? It's not the hardware, the tech specs.